Kim M, otherwise known as Isles Girls 3. Kim, how you doing today?
Hi, Stefan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So obviously we know you on Twitter. You're big on Twitter. You're a big Islander fan. So tell us a little about yourself. All we know is that you love the Islanders. You're passionate about the Islanders. But give us a little bit into your personal life.
So, it's just a family tradition that's just been passed down, I feel like, in my family. My grandparents were season ticket holders since 1973. Both of my parents are huge Islanders fans, and then my brother and I. And some of my earliest memories of being a kid is honestly just being in the seats of Nassau Coliseum watching games. And I make the joke that at the dinner table they never asked how was school or how was your day. It was always, did you see that contract, did you see the game last night, what do you think of this trade? So it's just honestly something that always intrigued me as a kid. And the reason I really got into hockey was because I was upset that I couldn't join those conversations. And I was sitting next to my grandma at Nassau Coliseum. They blew the whistle, and I nudged her and I went, why did they blow the whistle? I forgot if it was icing or if it was offsides. But she slowly and steadily taught me the game at home. My parents, and my brother would slowly teach me the game on television, and from there, it's it started. I mean, it started this whole big love and passion of mine that is New York Islanders hockey.
One of the coolest things ever is seeing you on a MSG Plus commercial wearing the lipstick and all that glamour. How did that come to be?
So I was shocked. I was on Twitter and I got a DM from MSG on Twitter saying that they would love to have me do a commercial or be a part of a commercial for them. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's so cool. It was like a dream of mine since I was a kid, and I was like, of course I will. They gave me an email. They gave me some questions to go by. And so I recorded for them. And suddenly I get another message from MSG saying, with the lipstick, we want to do just like a special segment about how you do the lipstick, you putting it on, and how that came about. And so that's how the other commercial, that lipstick commercial, came about. It was just a secondary thought from MSG after they had seen my footage from the first one. And I mean, I was stunned. I was so excited, and I remember my family just huddled around the TV, like waiting for it to come on. And it's the weirdest feeling, sitting down watching an Islanders game and seeing your face pop up on the television screen. I was like, oh my gosh, that's me.
Speaking of the lipstick, where did that come from? Was that one of those ideas that came out of nowhere and you said, let me rock with this? Just tell me a little about it.
So when I was 16 years old, my passion was huge. And I saw like guys like at the Coliseum who would just do full face paint and dark guy and Leafs Nation. And I was like, I want to face paint my whole entire face. And my mom looked at me and went, hell no. And I was so upset about this. And I found a lipstick company that made orange and blue lipstick. And I went to my mom. I'm like, compromise. What if I made it more feminine? And she was like, she was like, I don't know, Kim. I was like, come on, it's just my lips. And she was like, fine, okay. So I got that compromise with my mom. We bought the lipstick, and I was like, what if I did half and half? I like played around with how I could do it, and so I did half and half lipstick, and I loved it. I loved that I could show my passion, externally rather than just internally. And I didn't know it would be something that would, be my thing or be my shtick, to this day.
I mean, that's awesome. See, obviously, we all recognize you with the lipstick and all of that. But what does it mean to you to be recognized by the Islanders fan base?
It's something I never thought would ever happen. I thought I would just be another fan in the crowd, just cheering on the guys, and I was happy with that. But just the fact that so many people now know who I am as a fan and, come up to me and they're like, are you Lipstick Girl? It feels like such an honor that I never thought I would ever experience. That, something that I consider, I consider the Islanders fan base my family, and just having those people that are so close to my heart come up to me and say, I love your lipstick. You're a great inspiration to my kid. I have little kids come up to me who say they love what I do and they want to get lipstick when they're older. And it just, it's such a huge honor to me, and something I will never ever be able to say thank you enough for to people who recognize me and say how much that they love what I do. And honestly, again, it's just a huge honor.
So we really got to know you when Robin Lehner was on the team a few years ago. Tell us a little bit about the backstory. I know you got to meet him. Things were going on. Just give us a little bit about that.
So it's a bit long, but I'm going to try to do the short version. So in the 1890s season, he came out in The Athletic about his bipolar depression and alcoholism, and every Islanders fan was behind him. Every Islanders fan was there to support him. And later that year, I was diagnosed with partial complex seizures. And to this day, like obviously I'm still taking my meds, still taking, dealing with epilepsy. It was just so brand new then. He became such an inspiration to me because I knew what he was going through. And after that, my grandparents surprised me for Easter because I had been dying for a Robin Lehner jersey with his jersey. And I just broke out in tears because of how much that jersey meant to me. And Robin Lehner actually saw that and he retweeted it. And I started crying more. I was like, he saw it. I was like, he saw it. And he started following me on Twitter. And then when he eventually left the organization, which I'm still upset about, in Chicago, I saw we weren't going to have a home game versus Chicago until April. And I said, no, I'm not waiting that long. There's no way I'm waiting that long. So I took a plane out to Chicago in December, and I had a sign. I had the lipstick on. I had a sign that said, Long Island will always love Lehner. And he saw it on the ice, and he raised his stick, and he, acknowledged me. And honestly, that just made my day. Like, I thought, oh, my day's complete. That's all I needed. And I had two people, Kelly and Spencer, that were going to meet him after the game. And I was super jealous, but I was like, you guys have fun, tell me how Robin is. Mm-hmm. And I was outside the United Center waiting for an Uber with my boyfriend. And I suddenly get a call from Kelly. I'm like, oh, I guess she's like going to tell me how the meeting went. And I was like, hey, what's up? And she goes, get your ass back to the United Center right now. He texted us. He wants to meet you too. And I was like, well, what? I looked at my boyfriend and he's like, as soon as I saw your face, I canceled the Uber. He's like, I knew. And so we ran back inside. The security wasn't going to let me in. It was a big fiasco. But I finally got back inside and I got that moment to meet Robin Lehner. And let me tell you, like, he's just a down-to-earth, respectful person. He's a great hugger, by the way. He's a fantastic hugger. Like, the nickname, the Panda, is perfect for him. But I didn't have to tell him who I was. I didn't have to tell him anything about my background. It's like he already knew. And he put both of his hands on my shoulders and got eye level with me because he's a tall guy. But he got both hands on my shoulders, eye level with me, and just gave me so many words of encouragement. Just like, I just want you to know how strong you are and how your journey does not define who you are as a person. You keep trucking along. Every single day, you keep fighting. And I never will forget those words that he said to me. I will never, ever forget that moment as long as I live. And those days where I'm really struggling or days where I just feel like nothing can go right, I just remember what he said to me, and it's just something that just keeps me going just that little bit further. And honestly, it's something I will never, ever forget as long as I live. And that video that's on Twitter and that's on the NHL.com was my boyfriend actually recording that moment. And I'm so glad he did, because it's one of the happiest moments of my life.
You can hear the emotion in your voice when you talk about it and how important he is and played a role in your life. Are you still in contact with Lehner throughout the year? I know he's busy in Vegas.
He commented so I'm going to turn my camera a little bit here. So I've been collecting all of his jerseys for every single team he's played for. I call this the Wall of Panda. Nice. And when I just recently got my Buffalo jersey. The Senators one is finished and is on the way. Nice. But he did comment to me. He saw like the jersey collection. He was like, he said to me like, this is awesome. I love it. It was just it was so kind of him to even like reach out and see that he saw that I was collecting all of his jerseys. he's such an amazing guy. You know, he DM'd me on Twitter, basically, about like just, you know, it was so good to meet you. You're a strong person, an individual, and it was really nice to meet you and things like that.
It's just an incredible experience you went through, and I know you'll never take that for granted, that meeting. Going back to, you are always a fan that's very positive. You're very positive outlook, and we're talking about the Islanders here, who more often than not make you feel very negative at points. What has allowed you to stay positive?
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, but if you hear the telephone ringing, but honestly, it's because growing up, my brother and my father are mostly pessimistic. And honestly, I just, as a person, don't like that outlook. You know, I'm just a person who doesn't like to be pessimistic in life. I feel like if you don't have optimism, and what keeps you trucking forward? I always have had optimism in this team. Even when they were in last place, I'm like, you know what? Even if we're in last place, we're going to get a good draft pick, and we're going to keep just going forward with this team, trying to keep making this team that much better. And I will always just have love and faith in this team, even, at the worst moments and even at the highest of moments. It's just about finding the good in every situation. And that's how I keep my faith going. That's how I keep my love of this team going. It's just finding those little moments in this organization that, we're on the right track, and we're going to pick up where we left off, and we're just going to get right back to where we started from. Bad joke. Okay.
That's a great outlook. In Monday night's win, though, I mean, the team played stellar. How do you feel about the team's performance moving forward now?
I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit still concerned about this team. Do I think we're a Stanley Cup team? No, I think we still have a little bit of ways to go. But fourth line, good to see coming back into their identity line, and just still being that key element on this team, that they're the reason we won.
Yeah.
And the reason that we are still, we're still getting points and things like that. But if I'm going to say going forward, hopefully that line can stay healthy and stick together. Matt Barzal was also a part of that goal with Matt Martin. I mean, guy has hockey IQ that's freaking above the charts. Yeah. But I'm hoping to see a little bit more from our first and second lines. Leo Komarov, I love Uncle Leo, but he was a great Rangers player last night. I mean, man, he played great for the Blue Shirts. He just constantly passed it to the Rangers. I would love to see Bellows and Wahlstrom back up in there. And my brother actually told me this, which I think is a great point. There's not much you're going to see from Prajo and Wahlstrom when they're consistently stuck in their end. Yeah. And if you look at that third line, they were consistently stuck in the Islanders' end playing defense. You're not going to see anything from offense if they're always stuck in that end. But if I'm going to say anything, Islanders need to work on passing, stick to stick, tape to tape. There's too many times where we just throw it against the boards, and we hope to God that another Islanders player is there to take the puck and possession. Just not getting scared when you have that immediate pressure on you. Make a move. Do something just to keep that puck in. And Matt Barzal does that fantastic. He doesn't get scared when two players are coming onto him. He finds a way to keep that on his stick. And I just feel like that's the biggest problem with the team, is that immediate panic. Oh, I need to get rid of the puck. And that's how we always give it up, and we just never keep possession. So I would love to see more puck possession. I'd love to see more passing stick to stick with this team. And I feel like those are really missing elements that we're missing to get into the offensive zone. And then we can talk about maybe having a little bit more offensive pressure with getting that, top line shooter. Black Caps obviously screwing us there. But then I think we can talk about that. But just some simple hockey mistakes that we're making at this point, where I don't think we need to focus so much on offense when we can't even get into the offensive zone. So
that's a great point. A lot of defensive zone breakdowns and missed coverage in the defensive zone. It's really played a role this season. But my last question for you: do you have your seats locked up for UBS Arena yet?
Of course I do. That's not even a question, man. As soon as we could find seats, my grandparents, obviously, since 73, so they had the advantage of having picks early. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive, but we're up in the third on top, that third ring on top. I forget the third level, I guess you could say. Second row. We had where we were at the Coliseum. It's like caddy corner to where the Islanders shoot twice. because that's honestly, those are the seats that are my absolute favorite, even if it's even high up. But that gives you a good view of the whole entire play area, so you can see how the Islanders playing, how's the other team playing, and you don't have to keep looking up at the scoreboard like you do at the glass, like where you're just like doing this all game. Like, oh, they're at the other end. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, now they're back. And it's seats that I've loved. I don't mind being high up. I feel like true hockey fans don't mind being in the nosebleeds because at least you can still analyze play. And I'm super excited to go with my grandparents, who are just my absolute, they're legends to me. They're my favorite people whole in the entire world. My grandmother is the most passionate fan you will meet at a game. She will get up and she will point and she will yell, and I learned from the best, because she's the most passionate fan I think I've ever met in my life. And people call me a passionate fan. I'm like, you should see my grandmother. But honestly, I'm excited.
You should get the lipstick on her also.
Not her thing, but she loves and supports me doing the lipstick, and she's a big advocate and a fan of mine. She always, her and my grandfather always come into my streams, and they are always supportive of me. And honestly, I don't know what I'd do without them.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Hopefully, Islanders get a win on Thursday and keep riding along this season.
Yo, thank you so much, Stefan.